Hey everyone, so I am headed to another trail, but first I have found what seems to be a lot of these. Open gates, right? For hunters that want to travel further into the forest to begin hunting or whatever they do. And I'm gonna take full advantage of it. So it seems like there's a lot of these in this area of the Poconos, and I am living here at just the sweet spot where they're all opening. What's so great is that we're so early in the season that there isn't many people on these. In fact, I believe for the first couple months of this open season, the only hunting allowed is archery and bow and arrow. And so I'm assuming most people aren't doing that if they are hunting at all. And so, you know, for the first couple of months of this open season, I'm here, and it's just perfect because there aren't many of these trails in the Northeast. This is more of a, off-roading is more of an out west, Midwest type of thing, as far as I've learned. And because mostly the off-roading trails in the Northeast require you to have a caravan of Jeeps, or at least two, and I'm one person in one Jeep. So, I'm gonna just really enjoy this couple months with this opportunity, because you don't get to do this much in this part of the country. And it's good novice practice too, because there was definitely a experience jump that I made on my first road trip a couple years ago, and had some hiccups because of it, due to terrain that was less forgiving and just not knowing everything about the Jeep, and I still don't. And so this is perfect to kind of get my feet wet a little bit, get a taste of what it's like to kind of just ride on dirt roads, and hopefully and gradually get more familiar with being able to tackle slightly more difficult scenarios. But for now, this is really just enjoyable. Okay, so today we're going to be doing the Moosic Mountain Trail at the Dick and Nancy Eales Preservation. So since we're sort of already on the mountain, generally, there's not going to be much up and down and too much climbing. And so I really want to do a longer hike. There's a perimeter hike that sort of goes in a big circle around it. And that's what we're going to do today. So what I'm already seeing back there is really tempting in terms of a view, but that's why it's going to be very important to check the maps, because that says that it's a preserve trail that sort of just goes straight and dies off near probably what another entry point is into this area. So this is a pretty big area. This is where our pathway leads, and I'm gonna head down it. Even though that view is very tempting, I've learned enough lessons to know that sometimes you just follow the path and you get to see what you're meant to see. I already love this trail because we are up high, and so we're sort of like feeling elevated within this surrounding landscape that is engulfing me right now with beautiful fall colors. And it's just a really nice way to sort of get that in the wild feel without being completely dwarfed by trees and, you know, larger than life foliage that you kind of can't see through. I mean, we have distance here, and although we haven't seen any of the real long distance views, you get the view of where you're at. So very unique already. I know this is just the start of the trail, but I'm already gushing about it because it's really beautiful. I guess we get our indication as to why this part of the trail is called Stonehenge, right? Pretty clearly. So we've ended up on this service road area, and I think that's because we are doing the perimeter and we're kind of getting to the outer boundary of it. But it says that the path goes this way and deeper into the woods on this side, except I'm not seeing a path here. So I'm gonna walk up this way, and hopefully there's an offshoot that we can kind of match up to where we were, but it's gonna be going off of the trail that All Trails says, so I don't know if something's changed or not. Not a bad detour to make because we actually are getting some really nice elevation, and aside from that power line pole and the lines running through it, it's quite nice. They're like, look, someone who's wandered too far, maybe we'll get some food. Oh. All right, so we're back on the path. at what looks to be the top peak area of this mountain, and it comes sort of on the back end on the way back to the beginning. It's definitely nice and peaceful up here. There's not many people, and I'll talk about the trail when I get back to the car, but you're definitely not going to want to miss this part. So for a good mile to 2 miles on this back leg back to the starting point, I mean, you have the view with you the whole time, which is a really nice feature. There's really no area at this point where there's tree coverage or visibility difficulties. I mean, you get it. You get the view. I mean, we're walking right into it, you know, and I personally am living for that, because sometimes the view's not even there. Other times, most times, the view is pinpoints, you know, moments on the path. This seems to have quite a lot, and it's not a mountain view, although this is Moosic Mountain, but it's mostly hills. But that's, you know, just fine by me. To walk with this as my backdrop. So I'll mention this when I get to the map at the end here, but I just wanted to pop on and show you. We're walking this blue trail right now, but as you can see when I reference it later, there are cut through trails that are straightaways. And so you can get to places a little bit more direct, whereas the blue trail and this outer perimeter trail is very windy. I mean, it's constantly weaving in and out. And it's perfect for somebody who's trying to, you know, do a long, you know, 5+ mile hike. But if you want to just see the sights, you can do that. But I'll get more to that when I get to the car. So I'm gonna post the trail right here. I did over 5 miles, and it was about a little over 2 hours of moving time. I have on my map here the circles, which are picture points and where you can really see the best view. So as long as you factor those spots in and make it a point to hit those spots, you could really make this trail or preserve really work for you in any way, in any length, you know, and any time frame that you want it to be. There's many ins and outs, as I showed you in the previous section, where there's cut throughs, so you can really make it your own and decide what you want to do. But those are the spots that I would at least factor in when you're making your route. So on to the next trail.